Hello everyone, I am welcoming you all for the next concept that is metabolism. As you may know, the concept of metabolism since from the 10th standard only. So, what do you mean by metabolism? Metabolism is nothing but the sum of total biochemical reaction that take place inside the body of an living organism. There are several biochemical reactions that occur in your body, in any living organism body. There are several biochemical reactions that occur in living organisms. Metabolism is generally of two types. Metabolism is further divided into two types. One is catabolic pathway and second one is anabolical pathway. As you may get the doubt that what is catabolic pathway and what is anabolic pathway. Catabolic pathway is nothing but it is also a metabolical pathway which releases energy while breaking a complex molecule into simpler molecule. In metabolical reactions, in biochemical reactions, they break a complex molecules into simpler forms. The best example for catabolic pathway is cellular respiration. As you may get the doubt that what is cellular respiration? Cellular respiration is nothing but it is a biochemical pathway in which cells convert nutrients like glucose into energy form. Glucose into energy form. Suppose you may get the doubt that how the energy has been formed from the nutrients like glucose. So the reaction has been written here C6H12O6. C6H12O6 generally it is a glucose. It is a sugar molecule. Then 6O2 is nothing but it is a oxygen. When glucose and oxygen reacts, I mean glucose and oxygen are the reactants in this reaction. When glucose and oxygen reacts, it will give rise to 6CO2. 6CO2 nothing but carbon carbon dioxide. When glucose and oxygen reacts with when glucose and oxygen reacts together, then it will give rise to 6CO2. I mean carbon dioxide plus H2O, 6H2O. It is water molecule. Then it liberates the energy. I mean it releases the energy. Whenever glucose reacts with oxygen, it will give rise to 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 6 molecules of H2O or water. Then it will liberate the energy. I think we have clarified about the cellular respiration concept. Moving to the another type of metabolism, that is anabolic pathway. Anabolic pathway, it consumes the energy to make the complex molecules like glucose. What happens in a catabolic pathway is it releases energy while breaking complex molecules into simpler forms. But while coming to the anabolic pathway, it requires, I mean, it consumes energy to make complex molecules like glucose. I mean, you may ask me the glucose formula is C6H12O6. I mean, glucose is a complex molecule. To make the glucose like molecule, the reaction requires the energy. it is not a simple molecule, it is a complex molecule. Glucose is a complex molecule. The best example for anabolic pathway is photosynthesis. I mean, photosynthesis reaction is the best example for anabolic pathway reactions. The reaction has been written here for the photosynthesis. 6CO2, it is carbon dioxide. When carbon dioxide reacts with 6H2O molecule, it is water. When carbon dioxide reacts with water in the presence of sunlight, as you may see here, one word has been mentioned here. In the presence of sunlight, whenever carbon dioxide plus water reacts together in the presence of sunlight, sunlight is nothing but light energy. As in definition only I have written here. It consumes energy. Is it consuming the energy or not? Yes, it will consume the energy. Whenever the carbon dioxide plus water reacts together in the presence of sunlight, then it will give rise to sugar molecule. Sugar molecule is nothing but glucose. Whenever the carbon dioxide plus water reacts together in the presence of sunlight, I mean in the presence of light energy, it will give the product as sugar plus 6O2. It is oxygen. Whenever the 6CO2 plus 6H2O molecules react together in the presence of sunlight, it will give the product as C6H12O6 plus 6O2. I mean, I thought you understand this anabolic pathway reaction. I mean, it consumes the energy. Is it consuming the energy or not in this reaction? As it is consuming the energy. Metabolism is highly regulated by enzymes. If metabolism has to take place in the living organism, then it requires several enzymes. I mean, without the enzymes, there is no metabolism reactions occur. Enzymes plays a very much important role in metabolism. The various enzymes required in metabolism are lipase, amylase, protease, etc. These are I have written these enzymes only due to reference purpose. There are several enzymes that are involved in metabolical reactions. So these are the examples that I have written here: lipase, amylase, protease, like this type of enzymes required for metabolical reactions. Without the one thing you have to keep in mind: without the enzymes, there is no metabolical reaction. In the presence of enzymes only the metabolical reactions will occur. Okay. No non-living object exhibits metabolism. As metabolism is a combination of chemical plus biological components, so no non-living object can exhibit metabolism. Metabolism only occur in living organism. It doesn't occur in non-living organism. So it will exhibit only in living organisms. So in this case, the metabolism only occurs in living organism. So the metabolism is considered as a defining property of living organism. As per from the starting, we have discussed about the concept of living, growth, as well as reproduction. Now we have just now discussed about the metabolism. But growth is not a defining property of living organism. Reproduction is not a defining property of living organism. But when we came to the concept of metabolism, yes, the metabolism is going to be the defining property of a living organism. Starting with the another concept, that is consciousness. So consciousness is nothing but the ability of an organism to sense their surroundings and proper response to environmental stimuli. As you know, every organism is having ability to sense their surroundings, means what is happening around their surroundings, and a proper response to a environmental stimuli. Now you can get the doubt that the new word has been came here, stimuli. So stimuli is nothing but the detectable changes in an organism. The changes that may be internal inside the body or external outside the body of an organism. The change that causes a response or reaction. Stimuli is nothing but the detectable changes in organism that may be internal or external that causes a response or reaction. The changes in organism that may be internal or external due to several factors. The factors is nothing but environmental hazards, that includes environmental hazards also. So that causes a internal or external that will lead to a response by an organism or reaction by an organism. For every action, there will be a equal and opposite reaction. So in this case also that is only happening. So stimuli that could be physical, chemical, biological. The stimuli that could be physical, that could be chemical, that could be biological. The detectable changes that may be the physical, chemical, or biological. And organisms respond to stimuli by their sense organs. And these organisms respond to the detectable changes, I mean stimuli, by their sense organs. Suppose take an example. Whenever the hot water falls on your skin, you will get cool or warm. You will definitely get warm. How you will feel? You will sense it. So in like that manner only, whatever the environmental changes or the detectable changes, the stimuli that happens in environment, the organisms that can sense their changes through their sense organs. The organisms are open system because they continuously interact with their environment. As you know, organisms are open system. They are living in open system. I mean, they are living in the open surroundings. So they are open system because they continuously interact with their environment. As the organism, take an example. You are also a human being, as also an organism. You are also continuously interacting with your environment. Like that, only organisms also interact with their environment because they are living in open system. So consciousness can be occur in only living organisms. Living organisms only possesses the consciousness. Other than living organism, no living organism, other than no non-living organism doesn't possess consciousness. Consciousness only possesses by the living organism. So the consciousness also be the defining property of living organism. Consciousness also become the defining property of an living organism. Okay, so let's move on to the last concept that is interaction. So you may heard about the word interaction in your daily life. So what do you mean by interaction? Interaction is nothing but an effect of two organisms that have on one another. The effect of two organisms that have on one another. If there were two organisms, then there will be benefit also, then there will be loss also. So let's discuss it. In interaction, there are several types of interaction are there. I have listed here. The several types of interaction are: first one is mutualism, second one is commensalism, third one is predation, Fourth one is parasitism. Fifth one is competition. Sixth one is amensalism. And the last one is neutralism. Taking both the species here, namely species 1 and species 2 for your reference purpose. So, in mutualism, what happens is the species 1 as well as the species 2, they both will get benefit. They both will get mutual benefit. And coming to the second one, commensalism. Here, what happens is species 1 will get benefit, but species 2 neither get benefit, neither get loss. It will be neutral. It doesn't get benefit, and in the other side, it doesn't get loss also. It stay neutral. Coming to the third type of predation. Predation means predator. As you may heard about the predator word, predation. In predation, what happens is the species 1 will get benefit, but the species 2 will get loss. I mean, it will get depleted. I mean, it will completely get loss or loss of life. See, the species 1 will predate on species 2. The species 1 will predate on species 2. Then it will be benefit for species 1, and it will be maximum loss, I mean loss of life to the species second. Coming to the fourth type, parasitism. Parasitism. Here species 1 will get benefited and the species 2 will get loss. How is that? How is means? In parasitism, species 1 will take either food or shelter from the species 2, then it will lead to the loss for the species 2 and it will be the benefit for the species 1. In competition, the both the species will get depleted. I mean both the species will get lost. I mean extincted. Less in number it will occur in competition. Amensalism. In amensalism, species 1 will be neutral. It doesn't get benefit, and in the other side, it doesn't get loss also. But the species 2 will be getting lost. I mean, getting extincted. I mean, getting lost. In neutralism, no organism will get no species will get either benefit, and in the other side loss also. They will stay neutral. So that is only neutralism. No organism will get benefit, and in the other hand, no organism will get loss also. Okay. We have finished totally 5 characteristics. I think so. First one is growth, second one is reproduction, third one is metabolism, fourth one is consciousness, fifth one is interactions. Out of these 5, only 3 are the defining characteristic of a living organism, that are namely metabolism, consciousness, and interaction. Growth and reproduction are not the defining characteristic of a living organism. With this, I will end today's class.